I'm sorry, it just kicked me in. I've been waiting since 5 till.
Really? Because we
Yeah,
did. And I even told Kat, let's wait a little bit for Monica.
yeah, that's weird. I don't know what's going on
Okay, so
here.
it's recording now, right? I stopped it and just went straight into it. Okay. Okay, Monica, so let me
Okay.
give you some proper names. You have LaBelle Road, Kia, Turner Subway Shop, 45th Avenue, and UPS. Any questions on anything there? I stopped it. Let me start over.
Could you say that again,
Sure.
LaBelle?
LaBelle Road,
They're on Blackboard.
Kia. Oh, they're already on Blackboard.
Oh, cool. Okay, then I'm good.
Okay. 45th Avenue and UPS. And Kat says they're already up there.
Okay, great.
Okay, Monica? I'm
Okay,
gonna
thanks.
mute it. And this starts in the middle, and this is going to be your test number 1 final Q&A for 5 minutes, okay? What is your current address?
We are at 774 Lavelle Road, apartment 215.
Are you a licensed driver?
Yes, I am.
Did you bring your driver's license with you today?
No, I forgot my wallet.
What is your date of birth?
December 23, 1974.
What year did you graduate high school? You did graduate high school?
Yes, that was 1993.
Are you married?
Yes,
How long have you been married?
we got married in 1994.
Do you and your husband have any children?
We have 3 girls.
Do the 3 of them reside with you and your husband?
Yes, they do.
2 of them were with you at the time of this accident, is that correct?
Yes, my 15-year-old daughter and my 8-year-old daughter.
Do you recall what day of the week the accident occurred on?
I don't recall.
Could it have been a Friday?
I don't recall that either.
The accident occurred at approximately 5:30 p.m., is that correct?
Yes, it was approximately that time.
And you were driving a 2009 Kia, is that correct?
Yes,
Were you and your children wearing your seatbelts at the time of the accident?
yes, we had our seat belts on.
Do you know if either of your kids saw the events leading up to the accident?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think they were looking out the back window.
Where had the 3 of you been prior to the accident?
I had just filled up the gas tank at our station.
Can I ask you why you refer to it as your station?
We own the gas station where I filled up the car.
Is the station near Turner's Subway Shop?
It's a couple blocks south of Turner's.
So it's not on the same block as Turner's.
No, it's further up.
Which side of the street is the gas station on?
As you go south down 45th Avenue, the station is on the right and Turner's is on the left, but farther up.
Turner's is on the west side of 45th.
Yes,
The gas station is on the east side.
yes.
What had you and your kids been doing before you gassed up on the day of the accident?
Oh gosh, it was so long ago that I can't remember.
Do you remember why you had your children in the car with you that day?
I had picked them up from school that day. Oh, it had to have been a Wednesday because that's their early release day.
You had picked them both up from school early that day?
It wasn't early for a Wednesday.
What time did you pick them up from school on the day of the accident?
Every Wednesday, I pick them up at 12:45.
What time do they get out of school the rest of the week?
The usual release time is 3.
I see. You picked up the 2 of them and filled the car up with gas, and then what?
After we got the gas, we were going to get an ice cream cone and head back home.
Do you and your husband both work at the gas station?
Yes, we do.
Was your husband working at the gas station on the day of the accident?
Yes, he was.
I'd like you to tell me in your own words now what happened after you left the gas station and pulled out onto 45th Avenue. In your own words, tell me what you did from the time you left the station.
I left the station and I pulled out into the right-hand lane. I signaled to get into the left lane. I was waiting for an opening in the cars, and there was about 10 or more cars I had to wait for to make my left turn into the shopping center. I saw the truck coming up behind my car, and I assumed he was going to slow down, but he didn't.
At the time of the accident, you were signaling to make a left-hand turn?
Yes, into the shopping center so we could get an ice cream cone.
Do you remember how far you were from the turn when you put on your left turn signal?
I'm sure I was at least 100 feet from where I wanted to turn.
Do you have a recollection as you sit here today as to how far behind you your Kia, the truck, was when you first noticed it?
No, I don't know.
Did you notice it for the first time once you were stopped to make your left turn, or do you think you noticed it in your mirror sooner than that?
I must have checked my mirror several times. I always do. I think what happened is that I became aware.
Okay, and so we have your second 160 test. You have Jenny, Dr. Ambaugh, and Chinese. Any questions, Monica?
No, no questions.
Okay, this will be your 160 Q&A final, number 2, for 5 minutes, and it does start in the middle. Did someone suggest to you that you see an acupuncturist?
No, I was old enough to take care of my own health problems.
Were you seeing a doctor for any health issues at the time of the accident?
I have allergies, and my nose is always runny and watery eyes, and my doctor couldn't really help me, so that's why I go to an acupuncturist.
What sort of treatment does he give you for your allergies?
I don't know what it's called.
Well, what does the treatment consist of?
I get acupuncture once a week, and I also take some Chinese herbs.
You stated earlier that you found the doctor in the phone book or online. Is that correct?
Yes, I looked up acupuncturist online.
Why did you choose Dr. Ambaugh over any other one?
It was just random. She is near the school I'm attending and close to where I live.
So the location of her office is the primary reason you chose Dr. Ambaugh.
Yes, and also there's plenty of parking.
When was the first appointment you had with Dr. Ambaugh?
2 days after the accident. I called her and made the appointment 2 days after the accident.
Now let's step back to when you arrived home after the accident, okay?
Sure.
You arrived at your house and the passenger who had been in your car at the time of the accident was still with you. Is that right?
Yes.
And the name of the passenger?
Jenny.
And her relationship to you is what?
She's a friend.
Was she staying with you at the time?
She had been there for a couple of days.
Did she have her car parked at your house?
Yes.
So, your friend Jenny had been a passenger in your car at the time of the accident.
Yes.
At some point after the accident, you drove Jenny home.
Yes.
Do you recall what time that might have been?
It was about 9.
About 6 or 7 hours after the accident. Is that right?
Yes.
Did Jenny give you any indication of how her neck and back were feeling when you were driving her home?
She told me her neck felt real stiff, and she was complaining to me about her neck all the next day also.
Now, did you have any trouble driving her home that night?
No, not really.
Is Jenny being treated by Dr. Ambaugh also?
Yeah, she saw me looking up doctors, and I told her that I was going to make an appointment with Dr. Ambaugh, and she wanted to go too.
Let's talk about your first visit with Dr. Ambaugh. I have some of the medical records with me, but I don't know if I have them all or not. What sort of treatment did the doctor provide you the first time you saw her?
We talked a lot, and she asked me a lot of questions about my medical history and my health and lifestyle, eating habits, stuff like that. Then she asked me about the accident.
All right, but what sort of treatment, if any, did she give you at that first appointment?
Oh, she did all kinds of stuff. She put pressure on certain spots until she could tell where the pain was centered. She gave me a massage, and then she used a heat lamp on my back.
Did she use any of the acupuncture needles that first visit?
No, not that I remember.
In what manner did she use a heat lamp on your back?
She heated up my neck and back with the lamp, and then she put some real oily stuff on my back that smelled real herbal.
Herbal? Did it have a cool feeling to it?
No, it felt hot when it was heating up.
At the first appointment with Dr. Ambaugh, what were your complaints to her?
Just a stiff neck and back, and both my shoulders were sore too.
You said it was 2 days after the accident when you had your first appointment with her.
Right.
During the 2 days after the accident, did you go about your regular activities or were you unable to do them?
I had to stay home the day after the accident. I didn't go to school because when I woke up, I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't move my head from side to side because my neck was so sore.
You missed 1 day of school due to the accident?
Right.
Did you miss any other days of school due to the accident?
No, just 1 day.
During the 1 day of school you had to miss, were there any exams or something of that sort, papers due, that you missed?
No, I just stayed in bed all day and watched.
Okay, and then we have your 140 Q&As. On your number 1, you have General Hospital, Doug, Dr. Hearn, HIV. Any questions, Monica?
No, no questions.
Okay. And this will be then your 140 Q&A number 1 for 5 minutes, and it does start in the middle. Okay. Why did your son call the police?
My son and I had gotten into an altercation.
What was the altercation over?
I don't remember.
What happened during the altercation?
I hit him.
Where on his body did you hit him?
Not many places I can reach on him. He's tall. I think I hit him on the arm, but I can't be sure.
How old was your son at the time?
26.
At any time during the altercation, did he strike you?
No.
And you don't remember what the altercation was about?
No.
Did he call the police after you hit him on the arm?
No.
When did he call the police?
It was later. I can't tell you when. I didn't see him make the call.
Do you know what time it was that you got into the altercation?
I don't remember.
Do you know if it was day or night?
It was night. It was between 8 and 10 p.m.
Do you know approximately when it was that Doug called the police?
No.
Do you know what time the police arrived?
No.
Do you know how many police came to your house?
2.
Do you know who they were?
No.
What happened when the police arrived?
They came into the apartment and asked me to go with them, and I did.
Did they tell you where they were going to take you?
I don't remember.
Did they place you under arrest?
Yes.
Did they tell you why they were arresting you?
I don't remember.
Where did they end up taking you?
They took me to the psych ward at General Hospital.
When was it that you realized that's where they were taking you?
When we got there,
What did you do when you got to the psych ward?
I refused to go in.
How did you show them that you were refusing to go in?
I tried not to go with them. I just fought them.
Did you also try to run away from them?
Yes.
How did they eventually get you into the facility?
It took 5 or 6 people to restrain me,
Is that aside from the 2 police officers or including them?
including.
Do you know if the other people were part of the hospital staff?
I don't know.
Do you remember what they were doing?
I don't remember.
How did they eventually get you inside?
They carried me in.
Did you continue to resist them as they were carrying you in?
Yes.
What happened after they carried you inside?
They put me in an isolation room and under a 4-way restraint.
Did they check you into the hospital?
I don't know what was done.
How long were you in the isolation room?
I have no idea. There is no clock in there, and I didn't have a watch.
Was there anything inside the isolation room?
Just me and the bed.
Do you know how many people it took to place you in the restraints?
I don't know.
Did you continue to struggle with them as they put you in the isolation room?
Yes.
Were they the same 5 or 6 people that were trying to put you in there?
I can't remember.
How was it that you finally got out of the isolation room?
They released me the next morning.
Did they let you leave the hospital or just the isolation room?
They let me leave the isolation room.
Where did they take you after that?
They sent me to a day room.
Do you know if you spoke to a doctor before going to the isolation room?
I don't remember if I did or not.
Did you speak to any doctor after you were sent to a day room?
Yes, but I don't remember who.
Was it a man or a woman?
It was a man.
You don't remember his name?
No,
Do you remember what the doctor told you about your condition?
he didn't say anything about my condition. He came in to tell me that at the time I was in the isolation room, I had been given an injection, and he said there was a needle stick.
What? And so then we have your 140 number 2 Q&A, Ms. Gladwell, and that's it. Any questions on any of it, Monica?
No, no questions.
Okay. Was that a good one?
Yeah.
I know, it sounded good. This is your second test then, and it's going to be 140 final Q&A for 5 minutes, starts in the middle. When you say that you blacked out, are you saying that you lost consciousness?
I mean that I was unconscious.
Do you have any idea how long you remained unconscious for?
No, I don't know.
When you regained consciousness, was Ms. Gladwell still sitting on your legs?
Yes, she was.
Was it at that point she mentioned to you that she had a knife?
No, that is when she called for help.
She called for help as she was still sitting on your legs?
Yes.
Prior to when you were on the ground and Ms. Gladwell was sitting on your legs, did you hear her call for help at any time?
No, not before she knocked me down and got on top of me.
As you were laying on the ground, do you recall seeing other people nearby?
Yes, I saw at least 3 men standing around us.
Were any of the 3 men hitting or kicking you?
They were kicking me.
All 3 of the men were kicking you?
Yes,
What part of your body were they kicking?
they were kicking me in the ribs.
Did any of the 3 men kick you in the face?
No,
And Miss Gladwell was still sitting on you at that point?
yes, and hitting me.
Could you see the 3 men who were kicking you, or could you only see their feet?
I saw their feet.
How long did the 3 men kick you for?
I don't know. I wasn't keeping track of time. It felt like forever.
Do you know how many people altogether were involved in the incident?
I think there was at least 6.
Does that include Miss Gladwell?
Yes.
Now, once you regained consciousness, was Miss Gladwell still beating you?
Yes.
What part of your body was she hitting?
My face.
Was she using her fists to hit you, or was she slapping you?
She was using both fists.
Eventually, the beating stopped. Is that correct?
Yes.
What was the next thing you remember happening once Miss Gladwell stopped hitting you?
She had a knife in her hand.
She stopped hitting you and pulled a knife out. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you see where she pulled the knife out from?
No.
Did you see if anyone handed the knife to her?
No.
So your eyes opened and she was still sitting on your legs and she had a knife in her hand?
Yes.
Could you have looked away for a moment before she had the knife in her hand?
I have no idea.
Do you recall which hand Miss Gladwell held the knife in?
It was in her right hand.
Was it at that point that she made a threat to you?
Yes, it was.
And what was this threat Miss Gladwell made to you?
She said, I'm going to cut your guts open.
Is that the only thing she said to you at that point?
She was yelling all kinds of obscenities.
How far from your face was she holding the knife?
Less than a foot away from my throat.
Do you recall how long the blade of this knife was?
I'm not sure.
Was the knife at least 5 inches long?
Yes, at least.
At that point, was Miss Gladwell placing all of her weight on you?
It felt like she was.
Was there any contact between her backside and your body?
Yes.
Did you feel that she was pressing on you in order to hold you down?
Yes, I did.
What is the next thing that happened?
I was able to pull my hands away from the people standing on them.
Who was standing on your hands?
The 3 men. One of them was.
What happened once you pulled your hands free?
I twisted myself around and she fell off of me.
Did you try to get up off the ground at that point?
Yes.
Were you able to get up off the ground?
Yes.
Were you able to stand up at that point?
Yes.
Was there any resistance from Miss Gladwell or the 3 men as you stood up?
I don't remember.
What happened once you were standing up?
I tried to walk.
Sorry. Okay, Monica, are you gonna wait for the multis, Monica?
Yes, are you going to log off to separate them?
No, I was gonna put it all in one big file because it was
Oh, okay.
breaking it up. So let us just take a little break.
Sure.
And we're gonna get Michelle, okay?
Okay, I'll hold on.
Monica, okay.
All right, thanks.
Proper words that come out. You have on your 140 multi number 1, Diane, Hut Brown, Mrs. Keith, Ken, sorry, hide and seek, hide and go seek. And it starts at the very beginning with direct examination by Miss Ligon. Always Miss Ligon's witness, unless you have the court speaking to Miss Ligon or the witness. I am Miss Ligon.
The witness,
The court.
Miss Ligon.
the witness,
The court.
Okay. And it does start with the title, direct examination. Make sure you put that by Miss Ligon. Remember the court, all of the banks, witness, W, answer bank. I'm going to mute you. This is going to be test 140 multi number 1 for 5 minutes. Diane, how old are you?
8,
And do you go to school?
yes.
What school do you go to?
Hut Brown,
And what grade are you in?
3rd,
Who's your teacher?
Mrs. Keith,
Okay. Is this your teacher for the whole year?
yes.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you, Diane, some questions. Do you know the difference between telling the truth and telling a lie?
Yes.
What's telling the truth?
You say what is right.
Okay. And what's telling a lie?
You make the thing up.
Okay. Do you promise that today you're going to tell us the truth?
Yes.
What happens if you tell a lie?
You get in trouble.
What does your mommy do?
She says that I'm in trouble and I won't be able to do certain things.
Okay. So you know that you can get in trouble for telling a lie, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you remember the last time that Ken went to your house?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us what happened?
He came over and he sat down and watched TV.
Okay. I'm going to ask you some questions and I only want you to tell me about what you saw, okay? And the things that you, only in your words, what you saw. You can't tell me what anybody else told you, okay? Okay, so when Ken gets to your house the last time?
Around noon.
Around noon? Do you remember what day it was, or you don't remember?
I don't remember.
Okay, so do you remember if it was still daytime or was it nighttime?
Daytime.
Daytime. And did you go get Ken or did Ken go to your house?
Ken came to my house.
Okay. Would he go to your house a lot?
Not a lot.
Okay. But would he go to your house?
Yes.
Okay. Like how many times did he go to your house, would you say?
About 5.
5 times. Okay. And when he would go to your house, what would happen?
He would play games.
Okay. Was he your friend or?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Would he play with your sister?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And the last day that he went to your house, who was in your house?
My dad.
Okay. And what was Dad doing?
He was asleep.
Okay. Where was he asleep?
In the living room.
And where were you guys?
We were in the living room at first.
Okay. At first. And then?
And then we went to my sister's room.
And who went to your sister's room?
All of us.
And when you talk about all of us, who are you talking about?
Me, my sister, and Ken.
And what were you guys going to do in your sister's room?
We were going to get a game.
Okay. Did you get a game?
Yes.
What game did you get?
Sorry.
Okay. And did you guys play sorry?
Yes.
Where did you guys play sorry?
In the living room where my dad was.
Okay. And what is Dad doing at this time?
He was asleep.
Okay. Was Dad asleep the whole time or was he waking up or
He was asleep the whole time.
was he? Okay. So you're playing sorry in front of your dad.
Yes.
Okay. And did you guys play sorry the entire day?
No.
What did you guys do?
And then we played hide and seek.
Okay. Who was playing hide and go seek?
Me, my sister, and Ken.
Okay. And how do you play hide and go seek?
We hide.
Okay. And then what does one person hides?
Yes.
And then what does the other person do?
They count.
Okay. Now, when you first started playing hide and go seek, were you the one that was hiding or the one that was counting?
Hiding.
Okay. And who else was hiding with you?
Nobody else.
Okay. So there was people counting.
Yes.
Who was counting?
My sister and Ken.
And do you remember what room they went into?
My parents' room.
Okay. And you saw them go into your parents' room.
No.
What did you do?
I was behind my...
Okay, and then we'll get ready for your second 140 multi. Multi and proper names. You have Mr. Williams, the people, Mr. Reggie Evans, Concord, Verona Street, Peoples 1, and Mr. Evans. So it starts with the court speaking to Mr. Williams. always Mr. Williams as witness, okay? I am Mr. Williams.
The witness,
The court.
Mr. Williams.
the witness,
The court.
And this is going to be your 140 multi number 2 final exam for 5 minutes. And it does start with the court speaking to Mr. Williams, or the court speaking, and then questioned by Mr. Williams. 140 number 2 for 5 minutes.
We are back in session, ladies and gentlemen. Please come to order. Mr. Williams, you may resume your examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Is it your testimony that the only vehicle you saw in the street at the time you heard the loud noise was this white truck?
yes, that's the only vehicle that was out on the street.
Did the white truck you saw on the street have its headlights on?
I can't remember if it did or not.
Okay, now directing your attention to the lighter that you found, you said that the roller part was missing from it. Is that right?
Yes, when I found it the next day.
Do you mean that the metal part on the top of it was missing?
Yes, that little piece that goes on the top of a lighter.
Do you still happen to have that lighter in your possession?
Yes, I do.
Would you be willing to provide it to my office, sir?
Well, I would, but I moved all of my stuff out of state already.
No further questions of this witness, Your Honor.
Please call your next witness then, counsel.
The people call Mr. Reggie Evans to the stand.
Please step up here, sir, and be sworn. Please take a seat on the witness stand. State your full name for the record and spell your last name, please.
Reggie Evans, E-V-A-N-S.
I'm going to ask you some questions, sir, and if you have any trouble hearing me, just let me know, okay?
All right, I will.
Mr. Evans, in January of this year, can you tell us what your address was, please?
At that time, I was living in Concord on Verona Street.
Do you remember the number of the house you lived in?
I think it was number 21, but I'm not sure about that.
I'm going to have you look at this diagram here that's been marked Peoples 1.
Okay, I can see it from where I am.
Now, this right here is 21 Verona Street, the house that you used to live in. Is that right?
Yes, it looks like the same house.
Directing your attention to the 19th of January of this year at approximately 3 a.m. Do you recall hearing some unusual noises on that date and at that time?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Evans, can you tell us what it was that first drew your attention to this?
Well, at that time, I didn't know what it was that woke me up.
You heard a noise and it woke you up. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Could you tell where the noise was coming from?
At first, I thought it was coming from the back of the building, but it turned out to be from the front.
The noise was coming from the front of the building. Is that right, sir?
Yes, it seemed to be.
What did you do once you got out of bed?
I first went into the kitchen and turned on the light.
Okay, and then what did you do, sir?
I heard loud voices from the front of the building, so I walked over to my front door.
Does your front door have some kind of a peephole or something like that you can look through?
Yes, it has a little opening at the top that you can look through.
Can you please describe for me how big of an opening that is?
I think it's about 5 inches long and maybe 2 inches wide.
And did you then proceed to look through the opening?
Yes, I did.
Was it the white truck you saw when you looked out?
Counsel, please rephrase that question.
Yes, Your Honor. When you looked through the opening, can you tell us what exactly you saw, Mr. Evans?
I saw a white truck backing down the street, and there was someone walking in front of it.
What was the person who was walking in front of the truck doing?
He was waving his arms and shouting really loud.
Were you able to hear what he was shouting at the time?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, we'll get ready for your 120s. You gonna log off, Monica?
Yes, I'll log off.
Monica.
Okay, thanks.
Okay,
See you
Monica.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
Names on your 120 multi, you have Peter Townsend, Delmar Road, El Paso, Texas, Mr. Townsend, Daniel Elmore, Mr. Elmore, El Paso, Mr. Elmore. Sections A, B, C, and D, Mr. Porter, Thomas Porter. So it does start with colloquy between the court, Mr. Phillips, and the witness. Identify us as we speak, and then you have direct examination by Mr. Phillips. Always Mr. Phillips as witness. I am Mr. Phillips.
The witness?
The court.
Mr. Phillips.
The witness?
The court.
This is going to be 120 multi number 1 for 5 minutes. And final exam, okay? Starts with the court and colloquy, you all, for about half a page.
All right. Is this your witness?
Yes, Your Honor. This is one of my witnesses.
All right.
The other witness hasn't arrived as yet.
Will you please state your name and address for the record, sir?
My name is Peter Townsend, Townsend. My address is 7809 Delmar Road, El Paso, Texas.
Mr. Townsend, what is your occupation?
I am a deputy sergeant.
Sir, how long have you been a deputy sergeant?
Let's see, for approximately 10 years.
In the last 1 year, have you had any occasion to see in the course of your duties as a deputy sergeant the defendant Daniel Elmore?
Yes, I have.
And will you tell us where have you seen Mr. Elmore and under what circumstances?
Yes. In the last year, I have been assigned duty at the main jail facility in downtown El Paso.
What has your contact been with Mr. Elmore?
I have had contact with Mr. Elmore through my work at the main jail facility when I work in the minimum security area where he is housed. I have had conversations with him.
Will you explain what the minimum security area is in the jail?
Yes. The minimum security area in the jail is basically made up of 4 sections. Sections A, B, C, and D. Section C is where Mr. Elmore is housed. It has dorm areas where you will find anywhere from usually 10 to 16 inmates in a dorm. There is a rec room for every 40 to 60 inmates. There is a special area for trustees.
So, Mr. Elmore was housed in Section C.
Yes, he was.
Is he currently housed there?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Okay, and are you still in Section C?
Yes, I am. But I do move all around the jail. The deputies and guards are assigned to various decks on an alternating 3-day basis to make sure our job doesn't get really boring. So I may work Section C once a week, and then again, I may not work it for a week. The change helps the jail personnel to keep on top of things.
Okay. In the course of your work, have you had occasion to talk to Daniel Elmore?
Yes, I have.
And what did you talk about?
Oh, just real general things, sports, weather, etc. Sometimes we'd talk about what's happening in the jail, what's happening today, how are you doing, this type of thing. Just real casual conversation for the most part.
Did he ever talk to you about his family?
I don't remember.
Okay, you don't recall. Did you ever have any problems with Mr. Elmore while he was in jail?
I personally never had any problems with Mr. Elmore at all.
Well, have you found him to be cooperative, respectful, or dutiful, or what?
In my experience in working in the jail and having had contact with Mr. Elmore, I have had no real problems. He has also always done everything that I have asked him to do.
He has done it willingly, or has he exhibited any hostility?
He has always helped me willingly.
Do you know an inmate, or did you know an inmate by the name of Thomas Porter?
Yes, I did know Mr. Porter.
Okay, and was Mr. Porter housed in the same dormitory with Mr. Elmore?
Yes, he was.
Did Mr. Elmore try to help Thomas Porter?
What do you mean by help?
Did Mr. Elmore exhibit concern and respect when dealing with Thomas Porter?
Yes. It is my
Okay, and we'll get ready for your second 120 multi. On with your 120 multi number 2, Bubblegum Daycare, Diane Lee, Liz Chavez, Leo Chavez, Ken Ansari. And it starts in the middle with question by Ms. Ligon, always Ms. Ligon's witness, unless you have the court speaking to Ms. Ligon or the witness. I am Ms. Ligon.
the witness,
The court.
Ms. Ligon.
the witness,
The court.
And this is going to be multi number 2, 120. For 5 minutes, you all, it starts with Ms. Ligon asking the witness questions. Okay, and what school do you go to?
Bubblegum Daycare.
Okay,
It's almost near my sister's school.
okay, and who's your sister?
Diane Lee.
Okay, and who do you live with?
My mom and my dad and my sister and my bird.
And your bird.
Uh-huh.
Okay, do you know your mommy's name?
Liz Chavez.
And your daddy's name?
Leo Chavez.
Okay, and do you remember the last time? Do you know somebody by the name of Ken?
Uh-huh.
Who's that?
Right there.
Where?
Right there.
Do you want to point? Is he in the courtroom today? He's in the courtroom today. Do you want to point to him and tell me something he's wearing?
He's wearing blue.
Your Honor, we would like the record to reflect that the witness has identified the juvenile in this case.
All right, it will so reflect.
Okay. How do you know Ken?
Huh?
How do you know him?
Because he was at my house.
Okay. Does he live with you?
No.
Where does he live?
He lives right in front of my house.
Okay. And you said that he went to your house. Did he used to go to your house a lot?
Yes.
To do what?
To play with us.
Okay. And he would play with who?
Huh?
Who would he play with? Would he play with mommy and daddy or your bird, or who would he play with?
I'll play with my sister when he's not there.
Okay. And when he's there, would you play with Ken?
Uh-huh.
And what about your sister? Would she play with Ken?
No.
No? Sometimes?
Sometimes.
Okay, now I'm going to, let's go back to the date Do you remember the last day that Ken went to your house?
No.
You don't remember the last day that Ken went to your house?
No.
When was the last time you saw Ken?
The last time I saw him, I don't remember, but I saw him.
Okay. When was the last time you saw him at your house? Do you remember something weird that might have happened?
What?
Do you remember the last time that he went to your house? I'm not asking for the date, but do you remember what happened on the last day that he went to your house?
My mom and my dad never told me.
Okay. When is the last time you played with Ken?
The last time I saw him at my house,
What happened on the day that you saw him?
I played with him.
Okay. And who was in the house?
My dad.
And what was Dad doing?
He was just working outside.
Okay. And then what happened?
And then me and my sister were inside.
Okay. Did Daddy ever come inside?
No, he was just working on the bricks.
Okay. Do you remember the last time that Ken went to your house that Daddy was inside the house?
He was, but yeah, he was. He was just talking in the kitchen.
Okay. And what happened?
And then he was making lunch for me and my sister.
Okay. And then what happened after he made lunch for you?
Nothing. We just went to the store.
Okay. Was that the last day that Ken went to your house?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember ever playing games with Ken? What games would you play with Ken when he used to go to your house?
Me and Ken played Sorry.
Okay. Do you remember the last time that you... Okay, you all, so that's it for your multis. Good luck. Remember to abide by Wednesday midnight, everything's due. And I will send you emails as to registration, okay? And you will still have access to EV360 on the break. Have a great day.